Bekah. Welcome back to Bekah's Bookshelf. I make content about writing, reading, and mental health. I'm still fairly new, so if you're here, I really appreciate you, and I just appreciate that you're supporting my channel. Thank you so much. So today I'm bringing you a little bookstore crawl vlog. I'm in Newport right now because my partner's family lives in Newport, and as a result I've been in and out of Newport for the past 5 years or so, and because of that I have come to know and love a lot of the independent bookstores around me. And so I tried to film a little intro in the car with my friend who was going to all the bookstores with me, but I think it was way too blurry. And I just wanted to say I love making little cozy bookstore vlogs, and in the future I'm hoping that I will learn more about filming and about editing. And I think this vlog is very cozy, but I do think technically I still have a lot to learn about making vlogs. So just know that I'm going to work on that in the future. The stores that I went to for this vlog are Curiosity & Co., which is a really cute bar and bookstore in Jamestown, Rhode Island. And I also went to Barnes & Noble, which isn't an independent store, but of course it's just, a staple. You have to include Barnes & Noble in any little cozy little bookstore vlog in the suburbs. I also went to Charter Books, which is actually a pretty new bookstore in Newport. I think it's about a year old. It could be slightly older, but it's one of my favorite bookstores of all time. They have an incredible stock of books, and they'll always order new books if they don't have it in the store, or they'll bring it in from the warehouse. They had really cute author candles. They have a really cozy couch you can read on in the basement. I just love Charter Books. I found some of my favorite books ever there. And they actually have a really great reward program where if you buy 20 books there, you get a gift card for the average of the amount of money you spent there, which I'm excited for. I'm halfway there. And Curiosity & Co. I didn't say much about because it was actually my first time going there. My friend who was driving me, he actually used to work there, so he was like, you need to check this place out, and I absolutely loved it, but I'm still, it's still a new bookstore for me, so I'll let the vlog and the books I got there speak for themselves. And finally, we were going to go to Commonwealth Books, which is this used bookstore in Newport, and that is my favorite bookstore, not of all time, but definitely in Rhode Island of all time. And they have a location in Boston as well. It's all used books, and the guy who runs it is really nice. He always ships big book orders for free. If you go into the store and buy a bunch of books and you're not in the area, he'll ship them to your house for free. And yeah, it was a really, really fun time. I loved going to all those different bookstores, and I hope you guys enjoy the vlog. Even though I wasn't able to go to Commonwealth Books this time, I actually have some footage from another time I went there. So I just wanted to include that because I thought it would be really nice to just have a conglomeration of all my favorite bookstores for you guys to check out if you're ever in the Newport, Rhode Island area. So I hope you guys enjoy the vlog, and at the end there will be a little book haul of the books that I got there.
also really like these pages right here. Oh my god, in the original Japanese anime, they were lesbians, but then in the American adaptation, they made them cousins.
Oh my god. It's so frustrating.
Right. Then it's like they were like almost kissing, and it's like, you're cousins. Like, isn't that worse?
Yeah, that is worse.
This is so cute. Like, oh my god.
That's so adorable.
Stop it. Oh, I love Kabuki. He's such a cute little cat.
I like him. I like the cats. Isn't there one that looks like an orange?
Yeah, Tangy.
Yeah, I love that one.
Oh my god, Harv, the Alex of the island. Oh my god, Luna. Why is Luna giving yawn, kind of?
I see that. She's such a queen. Demons like in your dreams or just general demons?
There was one dream where I was researching the demons, and there was one where like one of my friends like went like Satan was in like this jail under my house or something, or like near my house, and like he was like sacrificing himself. We had to like cut his palm with like a knife.
Oh my god.
He was like, no, I take it back.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Wait. To fight and defeat a demon suggests that you will have many blessings in family, home, and work. Okay, so demons are fine. Because most of the time, like, they're vanquished.
Yeah, that's good to know.
That's good.
Thank you. Oh, hello, Clove. Have you stolen my seat? I have quite a few books. Clover. Hello, Clover. Hi, hold on. Okay, come here. Hi. Oh, big good. Big good. Okay. I first went to Barnes & Noble, and my goal with this bookstore vlog was to try to not spend too much money. I was trying to stay within like $15 for each store because I knew I was going to like 4 different stores. But this trip as a whole, I did say in one of my previous videos that I don't think I'm going to do a lot of hauls, but the reason why I'm doing this haul is because I wanted to do it as a reward for myself for finishing all of my November, December, and January grad apps. I finished 13 applications, and it was just like a very stressful process, and I just wanted to have something to motivate me to keep going. So I knew I was going to make this video, and you know, I really wanted to buy some new books while I did that. And as a result, you know, I went a little crazy, even though I was trying to still stay in that budget. But I will say, moving forward, I'm going to try not to do too many hauls because I do just want to be more aware about my consumption, and I want to do a better job of like going to the library and reading digital books when I can, and reading my physical TBR before I like infinitely add to it. The first store that I went to was Barnes & Noble, tried and true, and I was actually really happy because this copy of Legendborn was only $14. And I'm so excited to read this. I've heard so much about it. So many creators have just said that this book means a lot to them because it's really beautiful to have a fantasy YA book that centers Black characters and is more inclusive. So I'm really excited to read this. I love that I'm getting back into YA recently. And I don't know that much about the book, so I'm just going to read the blurb for you guys. Some legacies are meant to be broken. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schools at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape, until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. And there's more like really intriguing stuff in the blurb, but I feel like it gives some stuff away. I usually don't like to read too much of the blurb, so I'm just gonna like go off of that. But I love the cover. I just think it's so beautiful. I love the illustration, and I can't wait to read this. I hear so many good things about the series. And as I said before in one of my previous videos, I honestly really have never been a series person, but I'm becoming one, and I really like that development for me because I used to be a series person as a child, so now it's like really interesting to see that come back into my life. The next one that I went to was Curiosity & Co., which is in Jamestown, and I originally was able to stay within my budget with this $15 book, but then I found a really incredible book that I just had to get, so I went over my budget. But as far as the book that stays in my budget, I got Notes of a Native Son by James Baldwin. And James Baldwin is one of my favorite authors. He's incredibly talented and extremely influential. I recently read The Fire Next Time, and I really just want to read all of his books, and I feel like I've only tipped my toe in, and I just want to like fully dive into his works, and I just can't wait to read this. Since its original publication in 1955, this first nonfiction collection of essays by James Baldwin remains an American classic. His impassioned essays on life in Harlem, the protest novel, movies, and African Americans abroad are as powerful today as when they were first written. And then there's a really good quote here that says, "The wonderful thing about writers like Baldwin is the way we read them and come across passages that are so arresting we become breathless and have to raise our eyes from the page to keep from being spirited away." I think he's one of the most talented writers I've ever read. I think his work is politically extremely important and still relevant. And I just can't wait to read the rest of his books, and I want to get started with this one. And actually, the woman that I met at the store, because basically my friend who I was with at the time doing all these little bookstore visits, he used to work at Curiosity & Co., so he like knew the whole staff there and like introduced me to everyone, and everyone there was super nice. It was a really nice atmosphere. And the woman who was working there actually gave me like this postcard, and it's an illustration of James Baldwin, and on the back there's a quote from him that says, "The moment we break faith with one another, the sea engulfs us and the light goes out." And I think that's really beautiful. I think I might do like an illustration on it where I draw like the sea around the quote. And then she also just gave me like a free ocean bookmark. I will say it's not really my aesthetic for bookmarks, but I always appreciate free bookmarks because then I can collage over them. And it is very Newport core, so I might hold on to it for a little while for irony's sake, but I do want to collage over it because I want to start collecting bookmarks. I don't have a very good collection of bookmarks because I used to dog ear my pages. I'm trying to stop doing that as much. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it, but I don't know. But yeah, that is Notes of a Native Son by James Baldwin, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to reading this. And then the book that made me go past my budget was this coffee table book. It's basically this book about Sofia Coppola's all of the movies that she's directed, all of the short films that she's directed, and it's such a beautiful book. It basically has like, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it has all of these interviews in here and all of these like essays about Sofia Coppola, and then there's all these different like film stills in it, and it's just really stunning. I'm trying to find, there's this one that's like so breathtaking. Hold on, let me find it. But the cover is just so beautiful. I love it so much. And I usually don't spend a lot of money on coffee table books because you can actually find really good coffee table books if you go thrifting. You can find very affordable books that way. But I just like read some of the essays and the interviews at the store, and the writer was really talented and the stills were so beautiful. And Sofia Coppola was just like an extremely influential director to me when I was in high school. I still really love her work, but it's just like very nostalgic for me to look through her film stills and just to like meditate on the meaning behind her art and the execution behind her art. And she really inspires me as someone who's like potentially interested in making visual art in the future. So I'm really excited about this. I just feel like I have a lot of coffee table books in my apartment, but almost all of them are my partner's because she was an art history minor and she loves photography, she loves art, she's really passionate about art. So I just felt like I really wanted to add to our collection. One thing that's so exciting about living with like your partner and your little soulmate is that it's just so exciting to see like your joint library evolve and like see what type of books end up in your apartment and how like your library changes when you share it with another person. So I don't know, I just really wanted to like contribute to like the art books that we have, and I just knew that I would read this so many times, so even though it was a little expensive, I felt like it was a worthwhile investment for me. And also it was the last copy. I really want to get those A24 books that you know, I don't know if you guys have seen those. I'll try to put a picture on the screen, but A24 makes these like film still books that have like the script in them, and I went through this really big period where I just wanted to purchase a bunch of scripts for movies and like learn how to write scripts and learn how to write movies. And I kind of abandoned that idea. But I really want to go back to it because I really would love to write a short film and eventually write like a full film or even direct one someday. Obviously that wouldn't happen for a very long time, but you know, I just like, she's really inspirational to me, and I just really miss that when I was in high school I took movies so seriously. I was a big movie nerd. And you know, I was really big, not big, but like I was really invested on Tumblr, so I was like very connected to the art of like visual forms, and I want to reconnect to that in like a healthier way than I originally was, because I've already really tried to prioritize watching more movies this year because I'm a really big fan of TV shows, but I just want to prioritize movies. And I feel like one way that I can like reconnect to film as like a medium is to start learning more about like the history of it and learning more about artists that I really admire. Because one thing that I grew up, I used to be like a pre-professional classical ballerina. It was really bad for my mental health, but it was really, I did learn a lot through that process. And one thing one of my professors at Joffrey told me was, if you want to become the best, you have to learn from the best, and you have to study them intensely. So I think that's one thing I really want to start to do, and I would love to invest in more books like this with other directors that I love. And then after I bought that book, I think something was just unlocked in me, and I decided not to stick to my budget, which is a little unfortunate, but it happened. No, basically at Charter Books, it was just really hard to only get one book, because while I was able to find one book that stayed in my budget, I found Just Kids by Patti Smith. I thought about getting it, but the thing was, I have actually already read that, so while I do want to get a copy one day, I would rather like spend this money on this, like invest in books that like I'm still excited to read, because I don't have all that much more space to expand my library in my apartment. You wouldn't know that based on the amount of books that I acquire, but I just want to be really intentional, and until I have like a bigger place, I really want to, you know, only buy books that I haven't read yet. And I got a really good haul from Charter Books. So this author wrote Everything I Never Told You, and she also wrote Little Fires Everywhere. And I actually didn't even know that she had another book coming out. I want to see when this came out, because what if it's like a recent release? And it's signed, which is so exciting for me, because I wouldn't call myself a book collector. I'm more like a book hoarder. I love to like really annotate my books and like kind of destroy them and still like curate them and take care of them, but like I am by no means like a collector where I have like super nice editions, because I would just get too nervous to like ruin those editions if something were to go wrong. But I do think as I'm becoming older and more responsible, I do think I can start to become more of a collector, and I think one thing that would be nice to collect is like signed editions. And the price wasn't raised at all for the signed edition, which I really appreciated. And this book is called Our Missing Hearts. And I hadn't heard anything about it, but I just know that this is an auto-buy author for me. She's one of my favorite authors of all time, and the two books that I've read from her so far were so impactful for me. They really informed so much about how I want to learn how to write, and they also informed so much about like narrative structure. And I don't know, her writing just makes me super excited. So I just wanted to read her next book, and I forgot I was looking up when it came out. Yeah, I guess it came out last year, but I somehow totally missed that. So I'm super excited to read it. And as I said before, I know nothing about it, so basically I will read you the plot. 12-year-old Bird Gardner lives a quiet existence with his loving but broken father, a former linguist who now shelves books in a university library. Bird knows to not ask too many questions, stand out too much, or stray too far. For a decade, their lives have been governed by laws written to preserve American culture in the wake of years of economic instability and violence. To keep the peace and restore prosperity, the authorities are now allowed to relocate children of descendants, especially those of Asian origin, and libraries have been forced to remove books seen as unpatriotic, including the work of Bird's mother, Margaret, a Chinese-American poet who left the family when he was 9 years old. When Bird receives a mysterious letter containing only a cryptic drawing, he is pulled into a quest to find his mother. His journey will take him back to the many folk tales she poured into his head as a child, through the ranks of an underground network of librarians, into the lives of the children who have been taken, and finally to New York City, where a new act of defiance may be the beginning of much needed change. Super excited to read that. I wish I could say more. I'm just really nervous about my camera dying. Okay, so the next 2 books I got at Charter Books was Lavender House and My Government Means to Kill Me. 2 books that have been on my TBR for a really long time. I've been super excited for Lavender House. And basically, I don't know a lot about Lavender House, but I know it's queer and about, like, lesbians in the 1950s, and I'll quickly read through the blurb as well. Lavender House, 1952, the family seat of recently deceased matriarch Irene Lamontagne, head of the famous Lamontagne soap empire. This estate offers a unique freedom where none of the residents or staff hide who they are. But to keep their secret, they've needed to keep others out, and now they're worried they're keeping a murderer in. That sounds pretty crazy, and I really would love to talk about it more, but my camera is dying, so I will tell you more about it once I read it. The last book I got at Charter Books was My Government Means to Kill Me, which I've been really excited to read ever since I heard about it on TikTok originally. I think I came across the author's TikTok, but I could be wrong. I could be remembering things wrong. A fierce and riveting queer coming-of-age story following the personal and political awakening of a young gay black man in 1980s New York City, from the television drama writer and producer of The Chi, Narcos, and Bel Air. My camera is going to die, so I'm literally just going to blow through these last ones, but I got Ninth House from Charter Books, and I got Hellbent from Barnes & Noble. Definitely recommend getting the Barnes & Noble edition, because I just think the red is stunning. But tell me why they put these stupid stickers on here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my little bookstore vlog and my haul. I'm sorry that the ending was so chaotic because of my camera. I really appreciate all of you that have watched this, and anyone who's keeping up with my book nook on Instagram and YouTube, thank you so much. Bye!